Hello and welcome. Now let's work on React component so that this form, when we submit, we will be able to post the data to the backend, right? Now before we do all that, let's make this component, this class component, let's create its own state, local state. Okay, so let's begin by creating this constructor props super and the state, let's leave it empty for the moment. Okay, and we will be binding the methods that we will create. Okay, so let's leave that just like that for the moment. And what we need to do is we need to create this function, right, that will handle the form submit. Okay, so let's begin. Let's name it handle submit. Handle submit, this method, what it will do is it will take the event. Now the first thing it will do is it will prevent the default behavior, because when we hit submit, the browser will reload, right? So we need to stop that. So that is the default behavior we need to stop. So we do that using this method, event prevent default, and then let's just console log just to see. Okay, console log posted. Okay, now we have this method. We're going to use this method here in the form. So put here form on submit. So on submit we will execute this method. Okay, so this handle submit. Okay, so on the form submit, it will, this function will run, it will stop the default behavior and console log. But before we use, because we are using this method inside this JSX, okay, so inside this random method, what we need to do is we need to bind this. Okay, so bind this to this class. So this handle submit equals to this handle submit, and using this bind method bind it. Okay, so bind it to the class. Now let's give it a try. Refresh. Okay, let's open this, let's inspect, let's open the console. Okay, max length. Okay, so we have to fix this. Let's make it capital letter max length. So this is how it works in JSX. Okay, refresh. Okay, that's gone. Now let's try post something here. Post, as you can see, posted. We see the console log. Okay, that's great. Now there is a way of working with form data in React. Okay, so what we're going to do is we need to, whatever a user type in the text area, we need to collect that. Okay, and we need to pass that to the backend when we make a post request, right? So what we can do is we can first thing, we can keep track of the text area. So using this on change method, just like we did on submit, we can use this on change method. So whenever there is a change in the text area, we store that data in the state. Okay, so maybe we create something called body property, and then we store everything user types into that property, and then when we make a post request, we send that data. Okay, so let's begin. First thing we need to do is we need to add this on change event. Okay, so on change we need another method like this. So let's say this handle change. Okay, so this one we will create handle change method. Okay, so right after this one, let's create this one handle change. This will also take the event. Now on change event, we want to store this data that we get into the body field, which we don't have in the state. So let's create. Okay, so state will have a body field which will be empty string by default. Okay, so whenever there is a change, what we can do is we can use this set state method. Remember, in React you don't mutate the state directly, you always use set state method. That way React knows to re-render the component whenever there is a change. Okay, so on change event, what we do is this set state. Okay, using this method we pass an object, so the property is the body, and the value will be event.target.value. Okay, so whatever is typed in, its value will be available here on change event. Okay, so let's give it a try. Refresh. Now if you don't have this React, make sure you have it. This is a Chrome extension. Okay, so let's go there. So this really helps to keep track of the state. As you can see, currently the body has empty string, but as soon as we start typing, okay, it's not working. That's because we haven't bind this method to this class yet, the constructor. So let's bind this. So this handle change equals to this handle change dot bind this. Okay, now let's give it a try. Hello. As you can see, as soon as I type, we see that whatever we type in, that is available in the state with this body property. Awesome. Now with this data available in our state, when we make a post request, we can simply send this data to the backend. Let's try on handle submit. Instead of console log, let's try this state body. Okay, so let's just to see. Okay, so when we submit here, submit post, if you go, you can see whatever post we see. Okay, so this data we need to send to the backend as a post request. Okay, so let's do that in the next video. Thank you.